Hey everybody, you know what? We talk about special editions of WOWMakers, but this indeed is a special edition of WOWMakers with Noah Bergren. We're thrilled to have him today.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, and Noah is moving, I know you've all heard it by now, he is moving to Orlando. So we appreciate Noah coming in to spend a little time with us today. We're going to talk a little bit about his journey. We're going to talk a little bit about, get to know Noah a little better. And we have some gifts for Noah too. First of all, because I told Mary Hammond I would share this at the convention center, and she kept it in the paper so that when you travel, you know, when you move, it will say like this, but it's a Robert Dafford book of photographs of Paducah.
That's for me?
That's for you.
Wow.
And then Paducah Bank has this whole basket of goodies for you also to take with you so that you will remember us when you go to the Sunshine State. So,
it's a lot of pictures.
I know it is.
Wow,
it's a coffee table book. Do you have a coffee table book?
I do.
All right.
Not a book, but I have a coffee table.
Okay, so now you have a book for it.
Perfect.
Now you have a book for it. So, we all know that Noah's time here, you've had some significant moments and achievements, and many may think of the tornado, and that probably will be something, particularly in your weather career, that you will always remember. But we want to talk about some other things first. So Noah, did you come directly out of Penn State?
I did.
So you graduated from Penn State in 2018.
18, yep.
And so how'd you land in Paducah?
It's actually a funny story, which I'm going to tell this on my last day on air, which I probably
This will show after that, so.
We'll it may shed a tear. I'll try to leave the tear out now even too, but I was golfing with my friends, and I'm on the tee box, and I get a phone call in my golf bag. You know, the phone's in the golf bag, which is in the golf cart, and we're on the tee, so it's, you know, over there. I'm not going to answer the phone. I let it ring 3 times, and I'm like, I'm going to go walk over and see who the phone is. So I take it out of the golf bag, and it's an unknown number from a 270 area code.
We know that number.
And I'm like, 270 area code, what is that? And I let it go. I swear it was the last ring, and I answer it, and it's a deep-voiced older man. This is Perry Box from Paducah. That's all he said. And before he just stopped, and I said, Paducah where? Literally, that was the first thing I said. And after I said Paducah where, the rest is history. And it was funny how I literally didn't even know where it was. But he said from Paducah, and I'm like, Paducah? I have no idea where it is on a map. And it's sentimental because then I didn't know where it was, and now I know not just where it is on a map. It obviously has a place in my heart. And then we talked for like 30 minutes on the golf course. I mean, I just stopped playing and rode with my friends and talked to Perry, and he was just telling me about what a great little small town this is and the opportunity he had here. And then we talked the next day, and then from there I was sold.
And you accepted the position, and then
I almost didn't answer the phone.
Yeah, there you go. So when after that phone call was in
July,
and you moved here in August,
and never visited,
and never been here before.
Nope. He asked, "Are you going to come down to visit?" I was like, "Nope. You sold me on the station. You sold me on the opportunity. I'm coming." Which my parents were not in approval of that, not visiting before coming. But
it's a long way from home.
Yeah.
Okay, so your enthusiasm for meteorology is evident. In fact, my family watches every night, and we've learned some things. Mostly what I've learned, I will tell you, Noah, is we always think whatever it is the biggest thing that's ever happened, it's the driest, it's the wettest, it's whatever.
Right.
And you always show us that there have been other years that have had those things happen as well.
Sometimes too many statistics. I think sometimes even I get a little too bogged down with them. But
I told Noah I had lunch with a 6-year-old, Dax Ludovici, and he talked about the weather the entire time, and it's because...
Well, I don't know if it's because of me, but...
Listen, it's important to know there's a lot of skills along with that, but let's talk about that. So you graduated. How did you decide that you wanted a career in meteorology? I mean, how does that come? You're like, how old were you when you thought that?
Probably like 6.
So you were the same age?
Yeah, basically.
And so did some weather event happen, or?
See, it's funny because a lot of meteorologists, if you asked many meteorologists, especially who are on TV, because TV is actually a very small part of our field. People think that the local TV is like the majority of meteorologists, actually less than 10% of the whole industry. But if you asked that 10% of just TV people, most of them would say they have a childhood story. You know, a tornado hit their house, hail went through their windshield when they were a kid and it traumatized them. They have something when they were young that happened that sparked their interest. I never had a event that happened. I was just always fantasized by running outside I mean, I remember in kindergarten in Connecticut, there would be thunderstorms in this, late spring, and I would just be at the window. I mean, they'd be trying to teach, and I'd just be sitting at the window looking outside. Everybody would run in from recess when it would rain, and I'd be outside watching it rain. It was just weird. I always just had the bug for it. I don't know why.
My daughter told me that Penn State is like the premier meteorology school. Is that true?
I guess it is one of or the in the world. I don't know how I got in, to be honest, but I'm thankful for that I was able to get in and go.
Well, there you go.
My dad was the one who was able to help me, pushed me to apply and pushed me to go and help me get through it. So I have him to credit for my education. Because without that, I wouldn't be here.
It's always a team.
That is true.
Okay, so 5 years. What are some standout memories for you, Noah?
You want a funny one or a...
Sure, we'll take whatever you got.
Well, you'll like this one. I was typing about snow showers that were coming. I think it was 2-3 years ago. It was right early in the pandemic, and I was typing the word few next to snow and showers. And as my mom, if she watches this, will attest to, I am a horrible speller. And she's always on me for not spell checking. I'll type stuff for the web and on air, and I'll just type it so fast because I could type without looking at the keyboard and don't go back and spell. I mean, I think I do, but I typed snow farts instead of a few. And people to this day think I did it for clicks. They're like, you did that for clicks. And I'm like, no, I legitimately did it before I left work. Typed it, posted it, sent it. And then the next morning woke up to like 1,000 notifications on my phone, like, you goober, you typed snow farts.
So did you say it, or you just it was just in your message?
I put it out on the website and my social media. Like, it was in bold, like the first, like, there will be snow farts tomorrow. And I generally didn't know it. I woke up and I was like, oh boy.
Well, I looked at your Facebook page too, Noah, and it looks like that doing, little mischief. It looked like your friends at WPSD would scare you a lot. I saw some videos where you would just be working, concentrating, and they would scare you. So did that continue throughout your 5 years?
Thankfully, we put an end to that because my heart palpitations couldn't. I don't think I'd make it to C40 if that continued.
2, 1. At 10, Chris Brown's going to fix the remote. Hour by hour.
But I will say, I also noticed that
was funny.
Noah returned the favor to his sister, as often will happen with siblings. On
true.
Christmas, he hid in a box. His sister went to open the present, and Noah jumped out, and she also had heart palpitations, I would say.
Her and my mom. I'm surprised you remembered that. Yeah.
I saw it. I was looking
okay,
to see what was going on with Noah. And when we think about Noah and Paducah too, recently Noah jumped into the lake. If you got so many likes on a post, and it was like 10 times what you asked for.
Yeah, in hindsight, I should have thought that one out further. But
And he wore a snowman suit that he wore up here to tell all the kids Santa's journey on Christmas Eve. But you did a lot for the community too. You danced and
Dancing for the Gold.
Dancing for the Gold.
Which is a newer organization for childhood cancer.
Yes.
And then Dancing for the Stars I did last year. And I've emceed Dancing for Gold a few times. But I've really enjoyed getting involved with that one because it's, even for a city the size of Paducah, it's not something I feel like in a lot of other cities the size of Paducah in this area you wouldn't find an organization like that. Because there's not really care around here for children that have cancer.
Yeah.
There's just not. They have to travel very long distances. They have to go even beyond Nashville. And since I learned about that, that's been like one of the biggest involvements I've had outside of work. So I hope to stay still involved too.
Yeah, and he's learned to dance.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. You can Google it and find Noah dancing. I thought he did a good job. I was talking about the pranks that happened. Were there any other kind of things that happened behind the scenes that nobody saw that was funny?
All the time. I don't know, some of them should be shared, but a lot of good, funny memories.
Yeah, good
Dropping
friends there.
microphones, I've dropped the clicker on the green screen. I can't tell you how many times in the commercial break. If somebody will come around the corner and spook me behind the camera.
And
Because they're not on the
sometimes it didn't
camera.
work.
Of
Sometimes
course,
it wouldn't
yeah.
come up, so you just talk. He would just talk.
That's funny.
Well, we have to recognize and appreciate you for December 10th. I know it was a team event, but you all did warn those in Mayfield, Princeton, Dawson Springs, all those people that were impacted. I mean, you all saw it coming and were able to notify. So that has to be, probably will be something in your career that will always be something you feel like you've really made a difference. So what do you think you learned, or what will be the takeaway from that experience?
Oh, I don't know if there's one takeaway. That's tough because first of all, it takes a village for something like that, because there was so many successes in that event. And by successes, I mean the fact that 4 days in advance, Trent Okerson and myself can confidently go on a local TV station and say, yeah, there might be a tornado outbreak 4 days from now. I mean, that's the fact that all the people who have worked tirelessly in the private industry and the National Weather Service to make the models that help us see that. All the training that's gone on with the Weather Service and the local media, the partnerships that have gone on with emergency management to give people notice. I mean, even though there might have only been a few people on air in the area, between the 3 stations, and people just see that face. There's so many more people that deserve more credit than just us being on camera for that. Between like I said, the technology that gave us the ability to even track it that night. Mm-hmm. 15 years ago, it would have been unheard of to pinpoint a tornado on a street and say in an hour that tornado is going to be there in an hour. Like, you need to leave. Like, that would have been unheard of.
But this was clearly different for you. You all could tell that this was something different than you'd seen before.
If Trent was here, he would say again, and I'll reiterate for him, that he's obviously a lifer grew up here, he's from here. He has never seen parameters for that event beforehand. And he's seen the Harrisburg tornado, the Brookport tornado, as you remember. There's been many deadly tornadoes here in the fall and winter and spring, but that one stood out from even days in advance, that it's nothing like the others. In many ways, it was very sobering to forecast it, let alone to cover it, and then the aftermath and meeting people, and that was a whole different emotional aspect. But
well, we're proud of you,
right.
And we're proud of the WPSD team and how they work
station
hard.
Did an incredible.
Yeah.
There's many people that don't get. Is bringing this up now, even though you asked me about it, I have to say there are so many people that deserve so much more credit. The photographers who stood out in debris, there's producers who worked 10-hour, 12-hour days after that. There was national media here.
Yes.
People taking phone calls. Anchors coming in on the weekend to work 7 days a week. There was so many people that don't get credit that should, for before, during, and after that hopefully I give them credit now.
Well, and you're right, it's one team. And as we like to say, once a Paducah, always a Paducah. So 5 years, it's 20% of your life that you've spent here.
Nice.
Think about that.
That's crazy.
So we hope you always consider this home. And when now, 5 years later, you said you'd never been here. So when you think about, when you go to Orlando and someone says to you, Noah, tell me about Paducah, what will you say?
I think I will quote the Carmen Electra song, Pretty Little City in Kentucky.
Oh, yes. Our song.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know about till, that's a funny story too, but I will say it's not your normal small town. It truly is special, the community here.
Well, we're glad you spent some time here, and we want you to know that everybody will be rooting for you, and hopefully we can watch you too. Facebook, online, we'll be watching Noah. You have a big fan base in the WPSD. It is true.
A lot of bloopers.
So I want to say, Noah, we all want to know, if Noah couldn't be a meteorologist, what would Noah be?
Now, pilot.
Pilot.
When I was a kid, NASCAR driver.
Okay. So there you go. You never know. Noah's still young. He has a lot of career that still to go.
That's true.
So Noah, we'll end with, do you have a message for your fans, your viewing audience?
I don't know about fans. People, but I think the one thing is to nowadays is the weather's getting more extreme and more frequent. I don't mean to take a more serious tone, but hopefully you learned something in the few years I've been here, because I was always a fan of people growing up who taught about the weather as opposed to just told the weather. So hopefully I was able to pass along something that helped you learn about, the next time something active happens. But Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
There you go.
Enjoy
Hey,
it.
that's good. That's good.
There you go.
But it is true. We did learn from you because you can tell when somebody has a passion for what they do, and you have a passion for the weather, and we appreciate
I think
that.
I learned more from teaching about things on air than people learn from me teaching. 'Cause I made mistakes even teaching. I learned more too through it.
Hey, that's the way it's supposed to be. And it is raining today, and we
It's not
we
great
won't
out,
open this
no.
because it could be bad luck. But
Oh yeah, don't do that now. No.
so Noah, let's put on our glasses. We'll end with sunny days for Noah coming ahead.
Do I get to put on? Do I
Yeah.
have to take these off?
We know Noah will be coming back, so when you do, you'll have to make sure you let us know.
Oh, of course.
So
I'm gonna
thanks
miss it.
for tuning in to WOWMakers with Noah Bergren.